Hey Quez, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You?
Um, we all know that you're fast, Quez, and your speed has been a big point of conversation. How about the rest of your game? I mean, are there things that you want to show the coaching staff you can do other than just be fast?
Other than my speed, I just want to be able to show coaches I can get in and out of my breaks and that I can run a full route tree.
Hey,
So
Quez.
Josh Bowen and then Jeff McLean.
Quez, interesting. What's it like at least getting on the field a little bit with Aaron Moorhead? And have they kind of started you out at one particular position, or have you been cross training?
Honestly, we really got to know the whole playbook because, we can move around a lot. So it's not really one particular position. But working with them guys, really, they just helping me really learn. They really breaking down my fundamentals right now and just making me a better player.
We'll go Jeff McLean and then Rob Kessner.
Guys, I'm wondering how's it been? I assume that you're staying at uh, the team hotel. What are your plans for the season? I mean, how are you going to? Are you going to do any? How are you going to handle it?
I couldn't understand your question.
In light of the COVID-19 and the coronavirus and obviously trying to stop the spread of it, are you going to just live at the team facility? Are you going to see your family and friends?
Right now, I'm doing, as training camp going on, I'm really locked in on football and trying to give myself the best opportunity to play.
Hey, Quez, in talking to the other wide receivers, Jalen and John the other day, it showed me how quickly they say you guys have all bonded. Have you sensed that, and why do you think that has been?
Yeah, because we all in the same room every day. We helping each other out. We all are rookies, so we all are learning, and it's really a system that we trying to grasp, and really just trying to help each other out as we go along.
We'll go Les Bowen and then Ed Kratz.
Hey, Quez, just to follow up on that, it's a group that a lot is expected of, kind of all coming in together. Have you spent time together? Are you getting to know each other? Or do you think you guys are a lot alike? What are your impressions of like Jalen and John?
Those guys are really, we are alike, but slightly different. But I feel like our bond are coming closer and closer by the day, and it's just steady building. And a lot of people, expect a lot out of us, and we really just coming to play together and be one as a group.
Hey Quez, just talk about the return aspect of your game, returning kicks and punts. I mean, is that something you'd like to do here? I know you did it quite a bit at Southern Miss. How do you fit into that role, would you say?
I love to continue to play special teams and kick return and stuff like that. But right now, I'm really just focused on my role. Whatever role they give me, that's the role I take.
So Mike Kay and then Martin Frank. Mike, I think you're on mute. We'll go back to you, Mike. Let's go Martin Frank and then Daniel Gallen.
Hey, Quez. I was kind of wondering, Marquise Goodwin obviously left, opted out and everything. And I was kind of wondering your thoughts on that, and B, like, what do you think the competition level will be like, and once you guys are able to get on the field and, in training camp and everything like that?
We still have, a lot of competition here, and, we still coming in and competing every day. And for him, I really don't know his situation. I know he just had a little girl, so I know he's a family man, and I understand where he's coming from.
Have you had a chance to race the other guys yet?
No, I haven't.
Who do you think would win?
Most likely me.
All right, thanks.
Hey, Quez. What was it like, getting to know Carson Wentz virtually through the spring, and then, how do you think it will be trying to get on the same page as him, throughout training camp?
He's a really good guy. I know I kind of trained with him when I was in Houston, so we kind of, we've been talking for a while, and right now he's just steady, picking my brain a little bit and, seeing where I'm at, and really we just trying to, grow a connection as we go.
All right, let's go back to Mike K.
Hey, Quez, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, all right, awesome. I talked to Scotty Walden about the last couple of seasons, and he said that he saw a dramatic difference in your technique from your sophomore year to your junior year. What kind of clicked for you, and was there a certain coaching point that he had for you that kind of just struck, a nerve overall?
Well, in that off season when I was away, I really took a lot of time and really break down my techniques of getting in and out of my breaks and really being able to use my speed and still being able to get in and out of my breaks and just really get a better IQ level of the game.
Any other questions for Quez while we have him?
Yeah, can I hop in?
Sure.
Hey, Quez, I know you had mentioned Deshaun Jackson when we talked to you when you first got drafted. Have you had a chance to meet him? And either way, what are you hoping to learn from him this year?
Yeah, actually, I've had a conversation with him, and really I'm just learning how to be a pro. Honestly, teach me how this year 13 for him, and just really just learn from him and really just grasp everything that he has to offer.
Is it a little surreal to think that you're teammates with him right now?
Honestly, not anymore. I mean, I've been here for, 2 weeks now, and it's just, we all professionals now.
Let's go back to Mike K. We'll take one more.
Hey, Quez, do you have a favorite play from your college career that kind of illustrates both your speed and your route running?
Well, if you watch the tape, it's really one main route that I ran a lot, and it was like a glance route, and it's one that I took. I had a lot of yards on.
Can you explain what that is, just for layman's terms?
It's like a 5-step slant, honestly. It's just a deeper slant.
Casey, yeah, in light of, the coronavirus, I'm interested to know how you plan on handling social interactions outside of the team when the season starts. Will you visit, or you allow family and friends to come see you? How do you plan on handling that, or you just quarantine yourself?
Yeah, I really think, this season, the most in history, you really just got to kind of stay in your own little bubble. And I'd love to see my family, and I'm sure if, that's permitted and time permits, that's something I'll try to do. But besides that, not much. I'm really going to try to, follow the guidelines, follow the rules, just so we can have a season, and that's the most important.
Thank you.
Casey, I guess you're playing at the end position. At least is that kind of what you're learning right now? And also, how much interaction have you had with veterans like Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett on this team? Probably virtually more than on the field. But what's been your impressions of those veterans at that spot?
Sure. So yeah, I'm with the D-line, and I haven't really met any of those veterans in person really. But just from the virtual meetings, obviously, and following football, you know how much respect and acclaim many of those guys have in our room. So that's just kind of a general knowledge, and I look forward to getting to know them better in person and just learning from them. And that's been the biggest thing. I was able to do that some in virtual meetings, but I know on the field and in person the learning curve is even greater, and I'm sure they'll teach me a lot.
Let's go Dave Zangaro and then John McMullen.
Hey, Casey, with preseason games getting canceled, I'm sure it'll be a little tougher for coaches to get evaluations. How disappointed were you that those got canceled? And now what do you have to do in practices to give them that full understanding of what you can do?
Yeah, I was definitely disappointed for a second, but at the end of the day, with everything going on, everyone has to make adjustments, and it's an unprecedented time. And it's also no excuses for that. With even though there are no preseason games, I'm not going to use that as a crutch for or whine about something like that. So it's really just, putting your best foot forward every day in everything you do. I mean, having the same energy, passion, attention to detail, whether you're in the meeting room, around the building, in the weight room, or on the field. So it's really just, focusing on that, focusing on what I can control about my own performance, and then letting the rest work itself out.
Hey, Casey, in that vein, the virtual work, obviously it's a little bit different for everybody. What were you able to accomplish, and do you think you got a lot accomplished in that kind of format?
Yeah, well, the virtual meetings definitely different, but it's still interaction. You can still learn. You can still learn techniques. You can still learn scheme, and I learned a lot from that. I mean, the Eagles coaching staff obviously very, very knowledgeable. The D-line coaches very knowledgeable. So able to learn a lot about that. Able to learn from the veterans when they talked during our meetings, answered questions, and yeah, that was really the start, because that was right after the draft, and finally we got geared up and we're ready to go with that. And so from then on, just started learning the playbook, was able to study, and so I think that was really helpful.
We'll go Damo and then Jimmy Kempski.
Yeah, Casey, you're kind of a tweener, which means improving size and strength is going to be important here for you. What impact did the pandemic have as far as limiting your training and your weight work and everything else during the spring?
Yeah, well, I just didn't let that happen, because, like you said, I know I needed to gain weight, and so that's what I did. I bought a squat rack, I borrowed weights, and then eventually I was able to find a place to work out with maybe a little bit more equipment. But from the first day on, I came home to San Diego, where I'm from, and I knew that was going to happen. So I had that foresight. I purchased that equipment, and then I hit it hard.
Hey, Casey. In the past or in recent years, the Eagles have tried to use some of their really athletic defensive ends in sort of a joker type role. You sort of fit that profile. Have they mentioned that as a potential role for you?
Yeah, not really gotten into anything like that. Just right now, just learning techniques, learning the playbook, and just doing the best with that every day.
Go Les Bowen and then Mike Kay.
Hey, Casey. I was just wondering, have you gotten a sense of your position coach yet? It's a weird thing, having gone all these months without really being in front of him or being in his office or, talking to him on the field. Virtually, were you able to get a sense of who he is and what he's about?
I think it was definitely different virtually, but we had plenty of meetings and plenty of meeting times to kind of get to know our coaches. And I had met the D-line coaches at the Combine too, so I kind of had some rapport there. But yeah, I definitely think the virtual meetings were enough to kind of, learn from the coaches and get a sense of their personalities and things like that.
Hey, Casey, the coaches said that you guys had some field work over the last couple of days. What have you guys been specifically working on, and has it kind of changed your perception of how you're going to be coached this season by Burke?
I think, really just getting out this week, it was about acclimating. That's really what we did, just getting on the field, doing drills, just, talking about techniques, talking about playbook things, just general stuff like that. And that was really helpful. It's good to get out there a little bit in the humidity, good to run around, work with the rookies. And that was just a really valuable experience this week. I'm happy they were able to bring us in to do that.
Go Zach Berman and then Martin Frank.
Hey, Casey, as you know, there are more DNs on the roster than there are spots. You said without preseason games, it's about putting your best foot forward. But for these next few weeks, what does that look like? What's it going to take to make the team when it's obviously an untraditional August?
Yeah, again, I think that's another thing where it's definitely always a challenge. It's a big challenge in the NFL to do that. But also, I'm not going to, and I think it's the right approach to not kind of dwell on what could have been, because that's a waste of time in my opinion. It's really just about every day focusing on my performance and just improving every day. And I think if I do that, I'll be happy about that. And even regardless of what happens, if I know I go in there, improve every day, and handle my business, I think that's a good approach.
So this time of year, how do you improve if you guys aren't necessarily practicing in the normal way?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to, your own habits, your own routine. You improve on your routine. You figure out what works. You figure out what technique works. You add more things in to work on. You maybe do more mental work. For me, I mean, there's many ways to improve. It's not always just physically on the field. It could be mentally, it could be emotionally, it could be just anything like that. So, there's loads of things to do, and I think I just try to find a few things every day and just self-evaluate and then just go from there.
Hey, Casey, I was kind of wondering if you had been able to form any kind of bond with the other rookies. I mean, you guys obviously have a large rookie class, but you weren't together during the spring practices. Just kind of what's that like now that you guys are all finally together?
Yeah, that was definitely a challenging aspect that probably hasn't been, highlighted as much with everything else going on. But, not being in the same room as the rookies was definitely odd. I had a few prior relationships with guys, friendships. Dante Olson and I, Noah Togiai and I trained together before the combine, so I knew those guys. But, I mean, as soon as we got here, it's been, a lot of us have just clicked. And I think that's kind of just how sometimes things work. And, it's been great, being with the other rookie D linemen, getting to know them better. I mean, I just hope to continue to form those friendships and bonds now that we're finally here.
We'll go Rob Kessner and then Bo Wolf.
Hey, Casey. We keep talking about how unusual these times are. And one of the things that would normally be happening for a rookie like you is just a chance to get to see the city. Like, do you have a chance to do that? Have you, gotten to get any sense for what Philadelphia is about?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I'd love to do. I mean, I can tell Philly's an incredible city. I mean, the people, the atmosphere, everything about it. But yeah, I mean, with these, quarantine guidelines and kind of the importance of, what this season is and being able to practice and not getting sick, to me and to the team, it's just not really. I haven't really been going out. I haven't really been doing anything, so I doubt I'll be able to explore it as much as I, would in a normal year. But and the first chance I get when, COVID isn't as much of a threat and the quarantine isn't happening as much, I'll definitely take that opportunity.
Hey Casey, how are you guys spending your evenings right now?
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of mental preparation with meetings and just there's bonding, whether we have it at like dinner or whatever after we have our little practice walkthrough. But mostly it's just been a lot of mental work, and then also just at the end of the night, either after dinner or after meetings, just recovery work, just getting ready for the next day.
Last so Daniel Gallen and then Al Thompson.
Hey Casey, before the draft, you tested as one of the more athletic defensive ends in the draft class. In terms of bulking up and adding weight, how do you kind of balance, keeping that athleticism with, putting on a little bit more size and maybe a little more muscle?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I want to be as heavy as I can and retain my athleticism. I mean, that kind of sounds like a cop-out answer, but it's true. I mean, I've gained weight. I mean, I want to continue to, but I think it would be a mistake to try to rush to gain a ton of weight and then, maybe feel like I'm slow or just not as explosive, because that's football. That's important. So, I mean, I'm just trying to gain it intelligently, not trying to put on too much at once, focus a lot on putting on strength as well, and, just meeting with nutritionists, the strength staff, and just formulating a good plan.
Yeah, Casey, as you talked about all the talent on this team on the defensive line, and has anybody talked to you about the dangers of looking at the depth chart and starting to do the numbers on who's playing where and who's ahead of you, or just kind of staying focused on your day?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely something that can happen to guys. I mean, I'm looking forward to just getting to know the veteran D linemen first and foremost. Like, I just want to learn from them, learn from their wealth of experience, and hopefully form friendships. And that's the first thing on my mind. But yeah, I mean, I know I'll have to compete, and again, like, I think my attitude is just bring my best every day, always improve, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Looks like we have time for one more. Left, you want to close us out here?
Yeah, hey. Sorry, Casey, one follow-up to the weight questions. you were listed at 250 going into the draft. What is your weight now?
I am 255 pounds.
Okay. Where do you want to get to, you think?
I think that depends. I don't think there's a perfect number in my mind, but, I could see myself playing heavier. I probably don't want to be any lighter, so I think playing a little bit heavier, 5-10 pounds, that'd be good.